So imagine getting paid on Friday. Maybe this isn't more of an imagination, but maybe this is a reality. By Monday, hundreds of dollars are already gone. Not because you bought groceries, not because you gave generously, not because you invested, but because your paycheck belongs to someone else before you even received it. Maybe it's a credit card company or auto lenders or personal loans or student loans. Or maybe it's all of them. Many Christian families aren't living paycheck to paycheck. They're living payment to payment. And I've lived that myself. We would have times where I would go in to work, we would get paid, and I knew by the time I got home, my wife had taken care of all the bills, and we had nothing. Every payment reminds us that someone else owns part of our future. Today, we're going to talk about the true financial freedom really looks like and why attacking debt is one of the greatest acts of stewardship you can make for your family. Welcome to Financial Coaching Kingdom, the podcast that helps you align your money with your purpose. I'm your host, Jon. We've all felt the weight of financial stress, the sleepless nights, the silent disagreements with our spouse, the feeling that we're just not in control. But what if there's a better way? What if managing your money was less about math and more about peace of mind? On this podcast, we'll explore a different kind of financial freedom. It's not just about what you earn or what you owe. It's about the emotional clarity that comes from being on the same page with your spouse, the spiritual strength you gain from worshiping God with your finances, and the deep satisfaction of knowing you're building a lasting legacy for your family. Every week, we'll cut through the noise to bring you simple, powerful truths that will help you move from financial chaos to confidence. If you're ready to find clarity, grow in unity, and live with purpose, you're in the right place. Let's get started. Okay, before we move forward, please do not hear shame. You're not being shamed. If you have debt, it is something that we all have. Some of us are using it for various reasons, and we have prayed about it, and God has directed us towards that. Others have used debt personally and, kind of selfishly, and maybe used it with greed and lack of contentment, those type of things. And that's where this episode comes in, for when debt is not a good thing. How does debt affect you? Does it cause you to lose sleep at night? Or what is it doing to your marriage? Do you know what she's put on the cards, and does she know what you put on the cards? Or what about parenting? When you guys are trying to take care of the kids and trying to raise them in a way that they should go. Or maybe your career decisions. If you have debt, sometimes there's jobs that won't accept you because of that debt, or certain credit levels, or whatever it may be. And then there's times where you're going, I have debt, so I can't make the decision to take on this other. Or your generosity. How is debt affecting how generous you can be? Or trusting in God's provision. Oh no, sometimes I struggle with that. Of like going, okay, God, when's this going to actually happen? Oh, maybe I should make a step on my own. And then I find out, probably should have waited. Debt often becomes an invisible weight people carry every day. Many listeners don't need another lecture. They need hope, and that's what we're going to try to do today. Debt isn't evidence that you're a failure, but staying comfortable with debt keeps you from freedom that God desires. All right, so what does the Bible say about debt? Now, again, please remember, always look up the verses. If I give you a verse, please check it. Make sure I'm telling you the truth. Please, please, please. Romans 13:8. Owe no one anything except to love each other. Paul isn't establishing a legalistic rule, but presenting an ideal of living free from financial obligation whenever possible. Proverbs 22:7. The borrower is servant to the lender. In debt, there is less freedom. There is less flexibility and less ability to respond when God calls. You're paying today for what you did yesterday. Or Proverbs 6:1-5 highlights urgency. Save yourself like a gazelle escaping the hunter. Financial freedom deserves urgency. You want to get out of it. You want to stay alive, like the gazelle from the cheetah. All right, let's think about those high interest rates. I think it's the eighth wonder of the world, apparently, is compounding interest. So when that compounding interest is going against you, it's really bad. When it's going for you, it's really great. And it's kind of interesting that it's always going against you way faster than it's going for you. Like credit cards that have 20% interest or 30%. Those are tough. Or rising auto loan costs or minimum payments that keeping people trapped. If you're saying, oh, I can afford that. Well, you say that too many times, you can barely afford to live. Inflation reducing margin. I don't know about you, but the gas tank has gotten a little bit more expensive. The grocery cart has a lot less in it for the same amount of money. And the longer debt stays around, the more the future income disappears. A family making every payment on time can still lose tens of thousands of dollars in interest. Have you ever looked at that? Have you ever put that down on paper to see how much am I paying in interest every month or throughout the year? It's an interesting challenge to do. Debt isn't merely financial. Your finances aren't merely financial. There's a lot of relationships. There's a lot of spiritual wisdom, all kinds of things. Debt often attacks things like peace in your home or unity. Are you guys working together? Or your generosity. If you're paying in debt, I'm not able to help the missionary who came in that I want to. Or contentment. Maybe I want more because I can get more. Or faith. The enemy loves anything that keeps believers distracted, discouraged, and financially enslaved. Contrast that with Jesus' words of, the truth will set you free. Debt payoff becomes an act of obedience and trust, not just discipline. Okay, so this week I want to introduce you to the Family Freedom Debt Audit. It's a resource that I'm making available, so please download it either in the show notes or at financialcoachjon.com. And what it'll do is on one page, you'll be able to list out your creditors, all the people that you owe money. Is it a credit card, a student loan, or a personal loan, or maybe you owe grandma something? And the balances. How much? What's the total balance amount? What's the interest rate? How much are they charging you per interest rates? And what's the minimum payment? And also, what are the total monthly payments? So listing all that, seeing it there on the one page, and it's going to help you by putting that information, putting it into a few debt payoff options, strategies, like the debt snowball, the debt avalanche, and then also the emotional one. It's going to help you to ask where your money is leaking. Where's it going? What's the money going to? And which debt costs you the most? Whether it's financially or emotionally, and which debt steals the most peace. Is there one that makes Thanksgiving taste a little different? Or one that you are just so upset that you're still paying this, or that mistake that you made years ago that you're still paying off? Many people have never seen every debt on one page. And you know what? Awareness creates action. Once you see it, you'll do something about it. Okay, so now for a biblical debt action plan. What are you going to do? All right, so number one, stop adding new debt. If you're trying to get out of debt, the best thing to do is not add debt. Step number two, build a small emergency fund. Okay, get that $1,000 emergency fund. Step number three, complete the debt audit. Number four, choose the payoff strategy. You could either do the debt snowball, which is paying off the lowest balance to the highest balance, which is great because it gives you those wins. It gives you those strong wins. You could use the debt avalanche, which, if you're into the numbers, you're paying off the highest interest debt first, but it can also take quite a bit of time to get that first payment off. Maybe that credit card's a little bit bigger and you're paying 30% to, versus you have a smaller bill that you could get off there and add more money to everything. Or there's the emotional. There may be certain debts that cause you more emotional strain, and you want to get rid of them first. Or you want to do a combination. Maybe you want to start with the emotional ones, get those ones out that are really making you lose sleep. Maybe you need to use the debt snowball to get some momentum, and then maybe switching it back and forth. Maybe the avalanche is something that you're interested in, but you want to be moving forward. Behavior often matters more than the math. You do want to make sure you're moving forward. You do want to make sure that you are actively moving in a direction. Step 5, find margin. I've had some other episodes like finding extra money. You could find, or budgeting without burnout, or the weekly money meeting. You want to make sure you're doing those things. Check out those episodes. We talk about lots of different things. Every extra dollar receives an assignment. We want to make sure that you're doing a zero-based budget. We want to tell the money where to go before it comes in. We don't want to wait till it's here and then go, oh, cool, I got extra money. I've done that. And money just disappears. It flies away. All right, so what does freedom look like? So when you get there, get all the debt paid off and the emergency fund funded. Imagine keeping your paycheck. There is times where everybody at work is going, hey, yay, it's Friday, it's payday, woohoo. And I'm going, oh, it's payday? Okay. I gratefully am not living paycheck to paycheck. Thank you, Lord. And with that, I don't necessarily pay attention as well as I should to when payday is, because I know the money's coming in and everything's going to get paid. And saying yes to generosity. There's times where you want to, somebody asks for assistance and you want to be able to say yes. Or taking your family on vacation without financing it. Maybe there's that time that you want to go on a trip and you don't want to put it on credit cards or whatever it may be. Or sleeping peacefully. Think about that. How much is debt actually causing you to lose sleep? Or being able to change jobs without panic. If you are living paycheck to paycheck and you miss a paycheck, that's struggle. Or responding when God opens the door. Well, God's always going to provide when He does that, but you want to make sure that you are actively pursuing what God has called you to do. Financial freedom isn't about being rich. It's about being available. It's about worshiping God with your money. Okay, so for the Proverbs challenge, let's focus on Proverbs 6 and Proverbs 1 through 5 specifically. Ask yourself, where have I become financially trapped? Then act with the urgency of the gazelle escaping the hunter. Don't postpone freedom. Begin today. Complete the debt audit this week and don't judge yourself. Simply tell yourself the truth. You can't build a payoff plan until you know exactly what you're fighting. Okay, so download the Financial Freedom Debt Audit. You can find that in the show notes or financialcoachjon.com. In less than 20 minutes, you will list every debt. You're going to see exactly where your money is going and identify your highest cost debt. Build your first debt payoff strategy. Clarity is the first step toward freedom. Debt may feel overwhelming today, but it does not define you. God is far more interested in your direction you're headed than the mistakes you've made. Every payment you make with wisdom and purpose is another step away from bondage and another step toward the freedom to lead, provide, and serve your family well. Remember, your goal isn't simply to become debt-free. Your goal is to become more available for the work God has prepared for you. If you're looking at your debt audit and thinking, I don't even know where to start, that's exactly what coaching is for. Together, we'll build a realistic biblical plan that fits your family situation, help you make this steady progress without feeling overwhelmed. Visit financialcoachjon.com to download the free debt audit worksheet and schedule a coaching conversation. That's financialcoachjon.com. If you found this episode helpful, please leave a 5-star review and share the podcast with somebody else who could benefit from it. And if you want help creating a clearer financial plan for your life and family, reach out at hello@financialcoachjon.com or schedule a free call at financialcoachjon, that's JON.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.